Yo, Banter fam. Hope you all having a fantastic day out there. As you can see in the tile, sell your altcoins. This is a big topic to speak about today because firstly, we have the weekly, a very important support that we've had on altcoins for a while. And ultimately, what we've started to do is we've started to lose that. And I'll actually share that for you. And you can have a look over here that the previous all-time high of 2017 was a very critical stage for the altcoins on the weekly chart. And ultimately, we did hold it 2-3 weeks ago. And ultimately, the big drop in the last week has taken us slightly below. And yesterday, we ended up making a lower low on the daily. And what I'm looking at now is we've officially lost that support. Now, this becomes a major concern because we do have Bitcoin still slightly above the higher low as we speak. It's still holding the previous low of the $15,500 zone. But ultimately, we have two different charts that we have to focus on here. Firstly, we have this chart. We have the Bitcoin dominance, and this is a weekly higher time frame chart. And as you could see, this has been ranging now over the last year or two. But what we're starting to get now is officially the first higher high and us possibly breaking the 50 MA on the weekly chart, basically giving us an understanding that for a long period or for a longer period of time, that all eyes are shifting back to Bitcoin, right? Now, firstly, what we have is we have Bitcoin sitting in the lower range again. We're no longer in the high range of 18K, 19, 20K. We're now sitting in the 17, 16, 15K zone again. And ultimately, we're getting a restart of the cycle. Now, what is that restart of the cycle? The restart of the cycle is when everything turns straight back into Bitcoin. You know, we always have the diversification of where it starts off with Bitcoin and Ethereum, then it goes into the bigger alts, and then it goes into the smaller cap alts. And every time we have a big shift in the market, we always restart the cycle shifting into Bitcoin. And now we can see on super high time frames that everything is shifting back into Bitcoin. Now, the problem is we're sitting at the lower range. And if we lose the low and ultimately the total three loses that level two, we have massive, massive, massive levels. You know, I set this tweet out a few weeks ago and I set out that these were my targets. After analyzing and going through a lot of the charts, if we do lose this and worst scenario plays out, we can expect a lot lower than that than what I actually put on that list, and I'll go through that shortly with you. But secondly, what we also have now is we have the dominance on a high time frame breaking, showing that all eyes are turning back into Bitcoin. The low's not in yet, and there is a slight possibility that Bitcoin can still break out from here, and maybe the low is still in. But what it is showing us is the cycle has reset and everything is going straight back into Bitcoin. Now, a big concern, okay, a big concern is if we are going to capitulate and Bitcoin is going to go to the 12, 13K zone. I think one of the big catalysts that you guys could possibly agree with me on is the Binance. Binance. There's a lot of Binance FUD going on right now. And what's quite crazy is if I actually shift back onto the charts over here and we look at the Binance chart, you know, firstly, we have two major options here. Okay, we are starting to get a bit of the FUD, and we can see how people are starting to remove funds from Binance and these sort of things. Guys, this is Binance. This is the biggest crypto exchange out there, and they're holding a tremendous amount of volume. But what's quite scary is firstly, maybe it's all fine, okay, and it's just FUD. And ultimately, we still restart the cycle and everything's in Bitcoin. And I'll explain to you what I'm doing with my portfolio and what's probably a really smart move to learn, because you're gonna experience a lot of this during your journey in this market, of the restart of the cycles and when to turn into Bitcoin. You know, right now you have to brace yourself because the total three has just lost support. Now maybe it does have a temporary bounce, that's fine, but worst scenario is not good. It's not good at all. So you have to brace yourself and put your big boy pants on now and make a big decision for yourself. Bitcoin hasn't lost the low yet, and we'll go through that shortly. But ultimately, you have to protect yourself now. Otherwise, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot really bad if things go incredibly wrong. Now, that's saying maybe it's okay. Secondly, if Bitcoin does lose the low and things come out with Binance, the FUD comes out. I just want to explain to you the chart here quickly. If we had to look at the chart of Binance over the last 2-3 years, right, you could see that ultimately it's done incredibly well, previously going from $40 all the way to the $700 mark. Okay, but what it did do and what it did create is this very big gap. And ultimately, we saw this gap on Luna and we saw this gap on FTT. We've seen it before on these tokens where they've literally retraced 99%, if not more. Now, the big concern is we are starting to get a little bit of FUD and we are starting to get a little bit of push down here. And what we are attempting to do is to possibly come and test these lows again. Okay, so Bitcoin does test the lower ranges, and Binance decides, and the whole market comes down to test the lower ranges, not lower lows just yet. Binance holds $200 and everything's fine. But what the chart's explaining is we are creeping to a very critical area, and a critical area of if this area is lost. Okay, you can look at this token going from $200 all the way back to $30, if not even $20 again. Now, what would create something like that? Be something not good at all. And you'd obviously need something really big news-wise in order for that to happen. Because if we had to have a look, from BNB being a killer coin and being something powerful 4 weeks ago to now the FUD coming in and us approaching a critical level, very similar. Remember when we spoke about FTT? And I'll actually bring up the FTT charts to actually show you guys how important this is, to understand what could it be? We spoke about capitulation and all these sort of things. But remember when this chart was sitting at these, I just want to make sure I have the correct one here. It's no longer, let's see if we can get it on here. But if we had to have a look, okay, I'll put it there. At the critical area of where we were holding this 20K zone, we basically came down, and if I had the FTX platform, that'd be great that I could show you guys the previous data. But ultimately, we came down from here all the way down to the critical area, and we had one important area to hold, one important spot to hold that we do not want to lose. Because if you had to look at the previous data, and it would be on the the FTX platform, you could see that there was a huge gap, very similar to what the BNB chart is over here, where we have this huge gap over here, this massive gap, and all the way down over here. And ultimately, if BNB had to lose that, you're basically looking at an area of, I'll even take from here, an 80 to a 90% drop in Binance. Now, I'm not saying that this is 100%, what's going to happen in that sense. I'm saying that the chart's telling us something. The chart's telling us something that we are getting a reset. Now you got to sit here and you got to understand why Michael Saylor and all these guys, the Bitcoin maxis. Now you understand why these guys sit here and they fight so hard for Bitcoin. Because end of the day, Bitcoin's got the highest trust. And to be honest, for me, it is probably the safest and the I don't know, the whole creation of crypto is fully understanding from Bitcoin. It's the safest place in the thing. This is why it was created. And the problem is we have these central exchanges, which are great, but we don't know what they are doing. Firstly, we are handing over our keys. We're handing over our tokens. We're giving everything to them. We don't know what they're doing in the back end. And what's scary is in the last year, we've seen the titans fall. We've seen the big guys that we've trusted, as in Sam Bankman-Fried, as in Do Kwon. And, in the back end, they've been doing, completely opposite things that we never expected them to do. And the same thing with CZ. CZ, we look at him now and we're like, incredible man. We trust him with all our heart. But the chart is telling us we are getting to that level. And if we lose that level, it's showing something incredibly, incredibly bad. Not only is it the biggest exchange out there that we could lose these areas, and the only way I could see a 90% drop is if they have been lying to us or, something is not going right over there. But we need to brace ourselves. And ultimately, we need to understand that the restart of the cycle is not just something that resets to Bitcoin. It basically brings the truth out of crypto and gets you back into the understanding of what is trusted and what is not. Having Bitcoin on cold wallets, using the decentralized exchanges, these sort of things, decentralized wallets, these are all things that are going to come back into your brain now that you never thought about 3-4 weeks ago. And ultimately, we have to go back and think of those things and understand that the charts clearly showing that Binance, it's okay for now, it's holding support, but so was FTT. FTT was holding support, Luna was holding support. Everything was looking great, and all of a sudden, it turned. And it's just another point for you to understand why crypto was invented. Decentralization. That's what it was there for. That's what it was made for. And these centralized exchanges, we just have to be very aware. So guys, not only am I going to give you guys some charts now, and we're going to go through the tokens, and I'll go through the views. I just want to remind you again, understand why crypto was created and stick to the purpose of why it was created. Be very careful with this because anything can happen. I love CZ. I believe in him a lot. I really do. I believe in Binance. I don't think they're going to crack, but ultimately it is showing that if they do, it's going to be incredibly bad. And we got to brace ourselves for that. And we look again at the total 3 chart, a chart that is showing us where we can literally lose. Share my screen again. There we go. We could literally lose an area of seeing altcoins. Now, let's paint the picture here, actually. And usually I do the intro and I'll jump into the little things now shortly. But ultimately, what we have done is we've lost a key area. And after that area, we have another major support, if I want to call it, and that's on the monthly chart. And that's basically showing us the monthly close, which could be a very key level, for the altcoins. You could see firstly that we are losing the 50 MA on the monthly. So higher time frame, not good for altcoins, excluding Bitcoin and ETH right now. We have the support zone down here, which is around about 20 to 21% lower than where we are currently. We have the next support, which is around 40 to 41%. And then we have another support, which is 70% down to the bottom. These are our next three supports. Now, guys, the future of crypto, I suggest strong and I stand strong. Like I still believe in 3 years time, we're back at all-time high levels. I really do. But ultimately, this is the time. The only way that you're ever going to get prices back down and get them down to levels where the big guys want them is through crushing the big dogs in there and revealing the truth. And you got to remember that a reset of a bull market into a bear market is just bringing the truth out. It's nothing more than just money making. Yes, it is, but ultimately, it's what has Ron always said. Buy what you believe is going to survive a bear market that actually has purpose. It's actually going to do something out there for crypto, not just for the sake of making money or it looks pretty or anything like that. Like, does it actually add to the technology and the adoption and what we're trying to actually create here? And those that don't, and those that are fake, I'm sure Sam Bankman-Fried did not expect to be in jail right now. I really don't. I don't think he expected. I don't think Do Kwon's probably next. These guys, they didn't expect to be where they are right now. And why? Because they created something that's great, but they went completely against what crypto is trying to do itself. Charts don't lie, massive crash is coming. Now, I'm going to speak on both ends. Everything can turn out fine. And everything, I think everything's just got to be shown from Binance. They're being accused for all these sort of things. If it's open books and everything's showed, everything's fine. Okay, in that sense, we still may capitulate and these sort of things. But, we look at that chart over there, and there is an option of a 70% drop from a market that's already fallen 90% within altcoins. Another 70% drop. And for me, that's super worst case scenario. Now it is scary, and that's probably the biggest time where you would ever be like, no, this is a scam, this is horseshit, this is something that I don't want to be a part of or anything like that. I get it. But ultimately, we're gonna always have these resets, and the truth needs to come out. And if everything turns fine, beautiful. The market's reset back into Bitcoin. Maybe we capitulate. That's good. And I'll explain all the charts and go through everything now for you guys. Everything may be fine in that sense, and Binance shows everything, and everything's good, and we move on. I just want to remind you guys that bear markets are not bad. Bear markets here, yes, it creates opportunity, and we know that now. We're sitting here, and it is demotivating, and I've spoken to you guys many times about this, and what. Sheldon always talks about opportunity, even though we've been buying and buying and buying all the way down. I get it, but it is healthy for the markets. It's good for the market to flush these assholes out. Sorry for my language. Flush everything out. Bring max pain, everything out of the thing, and let's get crypto clean again. I think that was the big problem that happened in the last year is Bitcoin started to get dirty. And I think at parts, many times it has been dirty in the past, but I think it was time for us to clean it because we had a bunch of NFT horse crap. We had a bunch of people lying, people stealing money, people things like, let's flush them all out and let's get back to what crypto really is. So guys, remember, if you are new, smash a like, smash the subscribe button, join the family. I'm about to jump into charts, guys. So the first thing I need you to do is I have a cohort, guys. There's only 70% is full for January. 70%. There's only 30% left for school. It's incredible. This is my passion. I love it. I love teaching. It's absolutely incredible. So guys, go watch the video that I did on school. The free trading school. We had Garrett Soloway on over there. Go watch it. Go watch it. Go watch it. It shows you the live events. And to be honest, they're going to get even better. They're really good right now, but we're going to get even better with them. And remember, guys, that this school is free. The only way that it is free, though, is if you are signed up with one of our exchange links. If you already have a pre-existing exchange link on Banter, you have to open another one. On a different exchange, and you put in $100, you get to trade with that $100. It's for you guys to start, because we actually trade in the course, and I actually teach you guys how to build businesses and all these sort of things. So the money is all yours, and you get to trade with all of it. So remember, if you have a look below, you'll find all the different exchange links. The ones that get you into school is Bitget, OKX, and BYBIT. If you with one of those and you put in, so the way it works is you have an account. Then what you do is you'll click below this video to register to Sniper School, and then you'll put your user ID in. And if you put your user ID in, then it secures your spot. There's only 30% left. And we're doing 5,000 on the next one. It's incredible. The first one is 1,300. Now we're doing 5,000. Guys, how are we feeling out there? I know crypto is crazy right now, but it's good that we're getting a reset. It's good. I've learned so much in the last year. It's been such a crazy journey with you guys. I've learned a lot. I've really learned a lot. And, I'm inspired just to let's flush all the shit out and let's get crypto healthy again. Let's jump into the charts and let's have a look. So I'll quickly tap on this again. 3 scenarios with altcoins. Right now, we have lost the weekly support. The next one is a lot lower, which is around about a 20%. Then we have a 40%. Then we have a 70%. Okay, so we understand right now, anything excluding Bitcoin and ETH right now is not looking too healthy. Now, what does that mean for the actual tokens? Let's go through a few of them before I jump into shorter time frame analysis. It basically means you look at a token like Phantom, which is 20 cents, and ultimately it can go down to 10 or can even go down to 8 cents. You look at many, let's actually go through a few of them quickly, so you can get a little bit of an understanding of what this means. It means I don't think ETH is still incredibly strong to Bitcoin. And to be honest, ETH and Bitcoin are the pillars. Like for these, I would always just anything where you can really get these crazy discounts. Like, if you just accumulate ETH and Bitcoin for a long period of time, I think you're going to do incredibly well. To hold larger portions of your portfolio, you do learn the skill when the market goes into these bull runs to expand and to expand your risk. But ultimately, why are you expanding risk? You're expanding risk because there's opportunities to make you more Bitcoin or ETH. That's the only reason you expand. And then when it's time to get safe again, you bring it back together and you Bitcoin ETH. I still feel these are the major ones you should be accumulating. But what does it mean for this? It basically means another 30% down, if not slightly more, and you're looking at around $600 to $800 Ethereum. What does it mean? I spoke about BNB now. There's an option, guys. It's scary. So firstly, Bitcoin loses the low. Let's paint a picture. Bitcoin loses the low now, and it decides to go to 14K. Okay, maybe BNB goes to 200. Okay, all of a sudden, what would make Bitcoin go to 10 or to 8 or even to these lower areas? I'd probably say a Binance crash or something incredibly big like that, which could. And what it is showing here is a 40 to a 30 to a $40 BNB. Worst scenario, like something that's really, really bad. We look at things like Litecoin, currently sitting at around 64, make its way to $20, $25. These things are already, look at these charts already. It's crazy. You're looking at a $4 to $6 Solana. You're looking at an AVAX, looking at the areas of $6, $5 in these areas, just the next major weekly supports, and basically reset all the hard work and everything that's been done throughout the last 2 years, all gone and straight back to square one. Now, this is where Ron always said, what will survive the bear market? This is where the balls come into play. If you believe in these projects and these guys are who they say they are, they'll survive this. They'll survive a 99% drop in funds. Like they'll survive all these things and they'll continue to build. Even though it's going to be extremely tough for them. Run's been traveling with Bitget and BYBIT and all these guys. And everyone is struggling right now. They're fighting their asses off to survive. It's not only the people that are trading and are holding the tokens. These big companies are fighting themselves. Like for them, they've lost so much liquidity and so much money over the last few months. For them, it's really hard. And I can imagine the big guys and the CEOs of these companies are extremely stressed right now. We stressed, yes, but I think these guys must be absolutely, it's hard, but this is where the real balls come out. This is where, if they're really going to build, and to be honest, guys, we still have the possibility of losing 70% of all our altcoins throughout a bear market. If this bear market decides to stay at these levels, if not go down another 50% and stay like this for the next 2 to 3 years, I'd probably say we lose about 70 to 80% of all altcoins. I'd say tons. Like if you think all these big giant drops now, I think you're going to start seeing them popping like Smarties. Literally in the next year or two, you'll just start seeing everything just fade away. And that's the crazy thing. You have to set yourself up, especially in this market. You're in the right industry, right? But what you have to understand is probably 20% of the tokens that you are in or that you are spreading your risk to will actually survive and do well. Truly. So you got to give yourself an 80% misfire rate where these can fall. And it's not really good throughout those time. Like you got to be honest with yourself with that if things go extremely, extremely, extremely bad. So you look at all of these. Let's go back in here. And you could see all the different levels of AVAX, of Atom. Let me just see. I can get that back. Oh, there we go. Of Atom, you can see 36% down. You can be looking at Chainlink going back to $3 to $4. Another said, so you get a basic understanding. Polkadot for me is whoa, like it's incredibly crazy already. $2, $3, $4. Polkadot's insane. Like it's incredibly, incredibly insane. MATIC's done really well. But if we do capitulate, I do think we go down to around 30, 40 cents again. So MATIC is one I think that definitely survives. And I think if you get it anywhere in those ranges, like, you could see the difference between coins that have been building in the bear market versus coins that haven't. And ultimately, you can very much see it in the charts in the value. Like MATIC's been building and it's been doing incredibly well. But you look at a lot of these tokens, as in XRP. XRP, I think they'll always survive. The army is just too strong. But ultimately, 15 cents, 20 cents, Cardano. So I've painted the basic picture for you. Now, let's jump into the smaller time frame things here. And I want to show you guys the next important thing. Now, we are getting a reset in Bitcoin. And we can see that very much with the dominance. We are very near a 50 MA break on the weekly. And what that basically implies is we can go test the higher range again, a place where we've been 1, 2, 3 times before. And you can see basically since the 2020 bull run, we've basically just been ranging with Bitcoin. And I don't think that Bitcoin goes back to the higher percentage of 60 something percent. I seriously think that this percentage between 40 and 50% is somewhere we can stay for a while. But the only time we get these resets is when there's a critical change, in the markets, a reset of all the cycles. And this is just implying that if we cross this by the end of the week, which it looks like we're going to do, reason being is we've broken the previous high over here. And it's looking strong now to make its way up. We can be seeing another 15 to 16% growth within the dominance. Now, let me paint the picture for you quickly over here, and I'll show you this chart. And what it basically shows me is this is the major times that dominance. The top one is dominance, the bottom is Bitcoin. And you could see when we hit the bottom over here and we went to the top, so we went from the bottom range of 40 to 50. Do you see how it created a directional move in Bitcoin? Where we had the high of 60K all the way down to 30K. So it was a big shift, reset in the cycle. And you could see that as soon as Bitcoin went into ugly territory, where the market really started to dump and really got to ugly, like look how they don't even give a shit about any altcoins. Nothing. They send that dominance straight up. Protect Bitcoin. Bitcoin's our king. That's our big daddy for crypto. And you could see the same thing when we shifted from the top down to the bottom, when the markets are healthy, when Bitcoin's going up from 30,000 all the way to 55,000, no problem. Let's give love to altcoins. We drop it all the way back down. And you could just see the importance of when we're at the top range, how we have these big moves after. And it's crazy to see that now, again, we're at that stage now of breaking to the next. And it's important to understand because I still think we're in the month or two where we're going to get the lows, possibly. I think if this Binance thing happens, I think it happens soon. If we do have this, I don't think it happens in a few months. Like I think the exposure, if anything happens, it happens now in the next month, 2 months. I really do. And then I think we completely shift. Dominance goes up for a while. And only once we get to the top here do we really start to surge back into altcoins. About that. So understanding that when it comes to the actual Bitcoin reset now, it always shifts back when we're at a critical level now, because we can have a huge drop, we can have huge FUD that comes in and it loves back into Bitcoin. But let me paint the next picture now. Now it doesn't mean that, just make sure that I'm sharing. Now it doesn't mean that it's just bearish. Okay, I want to make that very clear. This doesn't mean that it's just bearish right now and we're resetting Bitcoin now because it's bearish. Okay, it can also be bullish. Okay, but what it means now is we look at an area where, look at the Bitcoin chart now on the weekly. We're still in the support area over here. Yes, there's maybe a possibility of 14K. We lose the lows, it's obviously we go there. Okay, very much that. If Binance, these things come out, Bitcoin comes down to 13, if not 9, if not 8K. Like that is the possibilities of what happens next. But also what happens here is everything comes out fine. Binance come out, everything's good, everything's looking strong, and all of a sudden Bitcoin starts to make its way up. Okay, now every time we reset the cycle, the dominance still rallies up. This dominance still shoots up. So what it means is basically Bitcoin, even from here now, if that was the low, Bitcoin decides to rage up to 25K, I still see this dominance go up. And only once Bitcoin's at higher levels, then do I see the reset. So this is why I'm saying now, we've just had the total three, the altcoins excluding Bitcoin, that's just lost support. Yeah, Gareth Holloway did say 8 to 10K too. He definitely did. But what it basically means is all eyes are back into Bitcoin and ETH. And for me, get the hell out of altcoins. Like this is just my opinion of it and what I'm doing. Getting out now because total 3 has dropped and we have serious Binance FUD that could really, really create big problems. And if that happens, you can be looking at a 50 to 70% drop on altcoins that have dropped 95% already. Okay. Second scenario, bullish scenario. Bitcoin, the lows in, and Bitcoin rallies straight to 30K from here over the next 3 to 6 months. All eyes are still on Bitcoin. That dominance is going straight up, and all love is still in Bitcoin because we're resetting the cycle. We've just seen it now if you compare the two charts together on how you can see that. So for me, it's that time where Bitcoin, ETH, and USDT are the only tokens that I have in my portfolio. I've been DCAing and into those. And if we have a look now on the shorter time frame, we've gotten a little pump for the day. Okay. Now, what's that little pump? The little pump for me is a retest of the low we just lost. So remember when we break a floor, we go and we retest it again. So for me, what I'm seeing on the charts is this over here, slight push here, and then a possible next leg down. Okay. Or worst scenario, Bitcoin pumps, this slowly grows while Bitcoin really rallies up. So Bitcoin will outperform the altcoins for me at that time. And then at a later stage, let me show you how long it shows me until I'll actually care truly about altcoins. Truly, guys, and this is something I got to be extremely honest about, is this is showing me the trend, okay, is only around March. Is a time that if the bullish scenario plays out here, around March would be the time that I'm really looking at expanding and going into smaller cap altcoins and going into these things. So you can see how far we are from that trend and how much damage done right now. This is going to take time. This is going to take time for this to get through back to those sort of areas. So for me, it's back within the understanding that Bitcoin and ETH is the true ones that are going to hold. And until Bitcoin's lost the low, we can't count the bullish scenario out. We can't. But what we had today is we're getting a little pump from the altcoins. And the little pump is taking us to test the level we just lost for the total 3. And this could be the opportunity to diversify into BTC. Now, how do you do that in exchanges? You don't jump on and go sell it into USDT and then go buy Bitcoin. You can go trade it straight into BTC. Okay. Secondly, what I'd be doing is if you are doing this, leave yourself, guys, I've been trading and I'm actually in some short-term trades now. I'm in some little shorts. So my link one's doing really well. A $6,000 on a 13x, like trading short-term shorts. So I have some shorts. So I'm backing my analogy on the markets looking pretty bearish right now. So I've kept myself 3% of my portfolio to trade with because I still think you can have a blast with trading here. You can really do well. The market's doing this. You can make money because you can short too. And you don't have to leverage it. You don't have to, but you can make money. But ultimately, what I'm doing is Bitcoin, ETH, some USDT, and sending it out of the exchange into a wallet. If you're making a decision to get into Bitcoin and ETH now, you're making it for the next 2 to 3 months. You're giving yourself some money to trade with and to buy any altcoin when the market's looking good. When there's gains to be made, we make money. Like, great. So give yourself that 5-10% of a portfolio. Have that ready. You can still trade over the next 3 months. I still want you watching the shows. I still want you learning. I still want you doing sniper school. Like, don't. But if you're making the decision for the higher time frame, I see the next 2 to 3 months being a blur and being a non-altcoin long-term investing period. And ultimately, my Bitcoin and ETH is getting sent straight into wallets. Get them off the exchanges. Get them out. Have your ledger. Get it out. Leave yourself a little bit of money that you are able to trade with in the exchanges. But if something happens to Binance or something happens to the next catalyst, your money is going to be trapped. Learn from the FTX. I don't want you guys to hurt like that. I don't want you to lose your money. I don't want it to be stuck on exchanges, because that's what will happen if these things happen. Right now, billions of dollars are being withdrawn from Binance. Billions are being withdrawn. That's crazy, guys. They're losing money quick. You know what I mean? And then it gets truly scary. So if you're making the decision of Bitcoin, ETH, as in what I'm doing, onto a wallet, gone, have 2 or 3 exchanges. That's why we've done ones like splitting them of OKX, Bitget, BYBIT. I've split them because I don't know which one. I need to make sure that all of them, and these we've obviously done a lot of research on them and good with the teams, but ultimately split that, have your trading portfolios and prepare for that. Guys, have a fantastic day. I'm here in Switzerland. If there is anyone here, give me a shout out. I'm going to Zermatt next week, so give me a Twitter message and let's see if we can hook up. That'll be really cool. But guys, we got this. Let's be smart. It is crunch time. But guys, let's end the year strong. Let's have a fantastic next year. I'll be doing another show or 2 still in this year. But have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all on the next show. Much love, Banter fam.